So, activities: touch, light touch, rubbing, harder pressure, light pressure, eating before, during, and after. Is it better or worse? Does it make a difference? Drinking, again, before, during, or after. Sleeping, differentiating between a nap and an overnight sleep. That could be a different set of symptoms or effects. And then emotions. Do certain emotions or certain situations make the symptoms better or worse? So as soon as they start feeling anxious, does the pain or does the symptom get worse or better? Okay, then you want to look at more general symptoms, not necessarily related to the main or chief complaint or main symptom, but general symptoms like how are they sleeping, how they're going to the bathroom, is that any different, urination, bowel movements, like all of a sudden since they've been sick, are they constipated, or are they having diarrhea, or are they sleeping better or worse, are they craving certain foods, are they more or less thirsty, just they've been feeling different mentally, emotionally. Anything else related that's different, did they break out in a skin rash or something like that, just anything, any other general information you can gather. Specifically, when they have a fever or flu, you want to ask about thirst. Are they wanting cold drinks, hot drinks, large quantities, small quantities, small sips, often, small sips, infrequently, large quantities, often, large quantities, infrequently? What kind of drinks are they wanting? Is it just water? Do they want it to be sweet? Do they want lemonade? What do they want? Their temperature or fever. Do they feel warm or cold to the touch, or do they internally, do they feel like they're chilly and they want to put more covers on or not? Are they sweating? Where are they sweating? Is there an odor to it? Is it excessive? Is it unusual in some way? When is it occurring? Again, and then perspiration can be a symptom that you go back up to the list that we just talked about. Does it vary if it's inside or outside, or if it's warm or hot or cold? Are they chilly or warm, like we talked about? Are they pale or red, or might they be red on one half of the face and pale on the other, or red and hot in the face but cold in the body? So these are things to differentiate as well. And then are they hungry? Are they not hungry? Are they hungry for, like we talked about, certain types of foods? Expectoration or discharge, so what they're coughing up or what's coming out of their nose. What does it look like, smell like, taste like? Is it thick? Is it thin? Is it yellow? Is it green? Oftentimes patients will tell you that there's an unpleasant taste to it, and then you want to find out what specifically that is. And again, what their mood is like. Since they've been sick, are they more irritable? Are they withdrawn? Do they want to be around people? This is a really big factor. Do they want to be around people? Does that help? Or do they want to be left alone? Right? Do their symptoms, do they feel worse if someone's around trying to help them? Or do they actually, does it make them feel much better? Are they crying and weeping and acting more like childish? Are they being childish? Are they being more demanding or bossy? Or are they just kind of lethargic? Okay. So those are a lot of questions to consider when you're taking a case, and there's many more. It's kind of scratching the surface, but if you go through all of those things and practice over time, it will become just natural to interrogate people that way. Okay, so after you've gotten all that information, now you want to kind of analyze that information and decide which of these symptoms are the most characteristic. So under GA, it says CXSYS. CX is abbreviation for characteristic. So that's a key word in homeopathy. We want to use, most importantly, put the most weight on the symptoms that we consider characteristic. And SY is an abbreviation for symptom. So a symptom is more characteristic if it's very severe or very intense. So if someone has a cold and they say that they feel a little tired, it's not very characteristic. It's actually the opposite. It's common, right? But if they're so exhausted that they can't get out of bed. They're so weak that they can barely move. That becomes more characteristic. So we want to consider the severity or the intensity of the symptom. We want to consider how unique versus common it is. So again, it's common to have a runny nose when you have a cold, but how common is it to have a tongue that's so swollen it's hard to close the mouth? That's a little more characteristic or unusual. Or if the face is so red that it looks like reddish purple, or it's like you touch it and it's really hot, like it's almost uncomfortably hot to the touch. That's character. That would be characteristic. And you want to consider the list above, all these things we talked about. What things seem to be in the patient with a cold, for example, what's characteristic? If someone's doesn't typically care for lemonade and they want to drink a ton of it, or they're drinking triple what they normally drink, that's more characteristic. So then the next step is, there's a lot of different ways to sort of repertorize. We talked about that chart. So if you pull out that chart, the repertorization chart, you start going through and writing the symptom, and then you can look up, if you have a repertory, which is a book just of all the symptoms with remedies that correspond to it, you can kind of check off, does this symptom have this, does this remedy have this symptom? So if you actually have, this is a separate book you have to buy, and I believe, do either of these books, did you look through them? Do they have repertories in them? Mm-hmm. Do they?
They're small, but they do have them. Okay.
So a good size repertory would be like triple the size of any one of these books, or actually 10 times the size. And what they do is they're a listing of every single symptom associated with every single remedy that's ever been documented. So we know, for example, that the remedy Rhus toxicodendron has as a symptom worse first motion, meaning the motion when you first get up out of a chair, it hurts more, and then better continued motion. So if you look under, back pain, motion, worse first motion, you'll see a list of all the remedies that have that, and there's many of them. Rhus tox would be one of those. So you get the symptom, like, let's say a sore throat, and it's better with drinking warm drinks. So then you can look up, go to sore throat, warm drinks, better. You see a bunch of remedies listed there. And then then you put a check next to all the remedies that have that symptom. And you go to the next system and you check all the remedies that have that symptom. And if you find that all of your symptoms, there's a remedy that has every single one of those symptoms, and it's the only one, and none of them, there's nothing else that's really close, then that's very likely to be your remedy. And say likely, you're not done just by doing that chart. Sometimes what you'll do with these books, the way the books are set up for more beginners, is you'll just go to the section on sore throat, and they'll say, here's the most common remedies on sore throat. Here's how you differentiate these 10 remedies. And you can do it like that. And there's not really 10 remedies that have sore throats. There's 20 or 50 or 100. But these are, in these authors' opinions, the most common for that. And you're likely to at least help or get close by choosing the one that fits best as it's described. And then there's also there's a small section of materia medica in these books that goes remedy by remedy and just kind of gives you a few pages. It doesn't give you 100 pages, but it gives you a few pages of kind of the highlights of those remedies. So if you're thinking, oh, well, based on this book, it seems like it could be phosphorus, but based on this book, it looks like it could be sepia. So let me go in and read about those two remedies, and I'll compare them. And, well, based on this one sounds like more like my patient than this one. So then you go to that, you choose that one. So first you repertorize, but after you've repertorized, ideally you want to then go back to the materia medica and read a little bit about that remedy and make sure that when they're describing the whole remedy from start to finish, that fits your patient the best, better than any other remedy. So that's the way to do it. When I'm doing it, I'm using a very elaborate computer program where I can go through the repertory on computer and it graphs it out for me, and it'll give me the list of all the remedies from most likely to least likely. I still have to know the remedies, because oftentimes the remedy that comes up at the top of the list is not the remedy I'm going to prescribe. I still have to go back myself and either in my mind go through the materia medica or actually consult my own materia medica and start reading and saying, you know, could be this, but you know, no, because if it has this, that kind of rules out that remedy. If it has this, it kind of rules in this remedy. So we'll talk more about those key, I'll give you highlights on some of the remedies as we go through the different conditions. Like when it comes to fever, there's certain remedies, and you know, if it fit all of these things, but the person, your patient, is thirstless, but this remedy is typically extremely thirsty, it probably doesn't fit. Those kinds of things are the kinds of things that would really cause you to prescribe or not prescribe. So it's those characteristic symptoms. It's kind of a different way of thinking. You can't try to prescribe a remedy based on just a laundry list of symptoms. You have to prescribe based on the characteristic symptoms. So sore throat is not characteristic. There's several hundred remedies in most repertories that have sore throat. That doesn't, it's not good enough. You need to be more specific. So if your patient can't tell you there's anything about their sore throat that they notice it's better or worse, they're probably not a very good patient. And you're not going to be able, you may not be able to help them for that sore throat, because you need to know, is it better with warm drinks or cold drinks? Is it better or worse from talking? Is it better or worse at a certain time of day or night? Those are the things that are characteristic. It's characteristic. It's not that it's unheard of to have a sore throat worse in the morning, but if the sore throat is much worse in the morning and it's, you know, 50% better during the rest of the day, that's characteristic. That's interesting. It's unique. It's what defines their sore throat, or someone else's sore throat is worse at the end of the day. Same thing with cough. Some people are they're gonna wake up. The cough is gonna wake them up in the middle of the night, whereas other people, oh, it's fine through the night. It's just in the morning it's really bad, or you know, whatever. As soon as I step outside, it's worse. As soon as I start moving, it's worse. No, actually, if I get outside and get fresh air, it actually gets better. So everyone's cough is different. So that's how you want to look at it. So then, you've repertorized, you've looked at the materia medica, you have an idea that this remedy looks like the best one, so that's what you get. So you prescribe that, what is hopefully the similimum, or what a friend of mine likes to call it closenoughumum, which in your case you might be doing that, and it might just help enough, you know, to get you better and not require the need of an antibiotic, or you know, it might shorten up the duration and intensity of the cold significantly, for example, if you're talking about